It's past 9.
This is Jamie Cullum.
Jamie Cullum.
Jamie Cullum.
On BBC Radio 2.
Good evening, everybody. It's Jamie Cullum here, and you know why you're here. It's time for another hour of the best jazz and music rooted in jazz from the UK and all over the world. Tonight, I've got some deep classics from Harry Connick Jr. and Roy Hargrove, and new music from the Rookies and Zoe Rahman, and I'm going to be helping you get to know the trumpeter Olivia Cuttill in her Take 5 interview recorded at this year's Love Supreme Festival. But let's kick off tonight with something from Al Hibbler, who originally sang in Duke Ellington's orchestra before launching a solo career, and this was a big hit for him. It's Al Hibbler and After the Lights Go Down Low.
After the lights go down low, baby, you'll know there'll be no reason for teasing me so. And when the dancing is through and folks will be few, I'll be here sitting with no one but you, and I'll be needing you so. After the lights go down low, I wanna hold you and squeeze you as tight as I can. I wanna kiss you and please you and make you understand. And when you thrill me, you fill me with love so divine. Together we can have a good time. When the lights go down low, baby, you'll know there'll be no reason for teasing me so. And we can cuddle up near without any fear, 'cause I got some sweet talk that you want to hear, and I'll be needing you so. After the lights go down low. The lights go down low, and I'll be needing you so. After the lights go down low.
It's the sound of Al Hibbler. It sounds so fresh, that, doesn't it? It's called After the Lights Go Down Low, and that was a big hit for him. As I said, formerly used to sing with the Duke Ellington Orchestra, but had a really big solo career. I'm not sure whether I've played any Al Hibbler on the show before, but there you go. Let's keep it fresh. Right, let's go back to the early days of swing now, and a classic from the band leader, Benny Moten. And I've been reading a lot about Kansas City recently. As you know, I read the Kansas City Lightning book about Charlie Parker, which I've talked about so much, by Stanley Crouch. Really got me interested in the history of Kansas City. I was in a secondhand bookshop whilst I was near Kew Gardens recently, a brilliant bookshop, and I bought a book called Jazz Cities, and it talked about all the major cities in the US that played such an important part of jazz history. New Orleans, of course, Chicago, New York City, and Kansas City. And Benny Moten, he was a piano player, he was a very good piano player, but at one point when Count Basie came back from New York and was doing the full-on stride thing, he knew he had to hand over the piano chair to Count Basie, and kind of unwittingly began the Count Basie Orchestra through having led the band himself. It's kind of a pivotal moment in jazz history, this particular song as well, with Count Basie on piano but led by Benny Moten. This is Moten Swing. That was Benny Moten, backed by the Kansas City Orchestra with Moten Swing, really defining that Kansas City swing sound there. That is Moten Swing from Benny Moten, but with Count Basie there on piano, kind of really taking on that band after that moment, really. That's when it became his. That beautiful 4/4 swing, those riff-based arrangements with the horns, real blues-drenched harmony. That's the essence of the Kansas City sound right there that's so pivotal in the history of jazz. I've got to do a whole show about Kansas City jazz at some point. I'm going to rewatch the great Robert Altman film about Kansas City as well. Let me get my ducks in a row and I'll come back to you on that one. But if you've got any thoughts on that or any other music on the show, let me know. Email me, jamie.cullum@bbc.co.uk, and reach out on social media at any time. Now, it's that time of the year when a lot of you are listening to the show on holiday, so why don't you let me know where you are? And what music are you checking out while you're away? Maybe one of your holidays is based around a festival that you're going to, or somewhere you can go and listen to music, or maybe you come across a band or a venue you didn't know about while you're away on holiday. I know one of the things I always do when I go away is I try and download all the music I want before I go away on holiday, so I'm not like seeking out too much other stuff. It's a really good opportunity to get into albums that I haven't listened to in a while, or maybe some classics where I just want to listen to one album, really get inside something. That's one of my little holiday rituals. Chris and Lisa have written to me. They're in Shepherd's Hut in Berwick-upon-Tweed, watching the swifts and swallows catching their food. They say, thanks for the lovely holiday jazz vibes. You are welcome. Alan doesn't say where he is, but he says he's listening in the pool with a fine Nuit Saint-Georges, and he says thanks for a consistently wonderful and classy show. Thank you for a classy message, Alan, and classy choice of wine. And Susanna is planning a holiday to Japan in October and asks if I can recommend any artist to see while she's there, or any favourite jazz bars or clubs. Well, my recommendations could take up a whole show for you, but let me just fill you in with a few things happening there. If you're going in October, Joshua Redman is going to be playing the Blue Note Tokyo on October the 22nd. Mark Miller is at Billboard Live Osaka on 1st of October. And if you remember, we had Mark de Clivelow give his Tokyo jazz scene guide recently, and he recommended checking out the club No Room for Squares in Shimo Kitazawa. How's that for recommendations? I'd also recommend, if you're in Tokyo, going to one of the great jazz listening bars, one of the classic jazz listening bars, named after the great Charles Mingus album. It's Pithecanthropus erectus. That's in Tokyo. Definitely go there and listen to music. It's an experience you will not forget. Just a few recommendations for you, but thanks to everyone who's been in touch, and please keep sending in those messages. All right, new music now from the London cellist and singer Midori Yeager. She released an EP called Unplanted in March. Definitely worth a listen. It's lovely to hear the cello used in this way. You'll see what I mean. This is a more recent track, and I'm enjoying this very much. It's called Planted. It's new from Midori Yeager.
One small space in your stomach now saves up for the day. A warm, sweet taste on your fingers now will come and take you away, away, away. Oh,
Yeah, I really love this artist. So interesting. Someone I'd really love to collaborate with as well. It's Midori Yeager. That track is called Planted. She's going to be playing at Shrewsbury Library on the 25th of October, and a beautiful use of the cello, and what a gorgeous voice as well. More new music now, this time from Melbourne band The Rookies. This is right in a more trad jazz arena, but still sounding very modern. This is from their latest album, Play Jazz 3, which came out in January. From it, this is East St Kilda, Toodaloo. Out of that well-known musical jazz hub that is Melbourne, that is the Rookies, and that was East St Kilda Toodaloo from their album Play Jazz 3. Now, I wonder how many of you got into jazz through Harry Connick Jr.'s soundtrack for When Harry Met Sally. It was certainly an important moment to me. I had jazz in my life already, but seeing Harry Connick Jr. turn up on, like, BBC breakfast shows when I was a kid, talking about wanting to sing like Frank Sinatra but play like Thelonious Monk. That was important for me, for sure. But when the film came out in 1989, the great film When Harry Met Sally, Harry's career was already well underway, but it did give him a huge boost. It really brought a whole new audience to some of the classics of the Great American Songbook, and it's a really, really big soundtrack. I remember it playing in my house. Another thing I've realized later on down the line is it was produced and orchestrated by the exceptional songwriter, musical theatre genius that is Mark Shaman, who I've also since become a huge, huge fan of. So when you're listening to Harry, we all know and love Harry, his piano playing, his singing, his all-round excellence. But here, enjoy the incredible orchestration of Mark Shaman as well. This is Harry Connick Jr. from the soundtrack of When Harry Met Sally, and this is It Had to Be You.
To be you, it had to be you. I wandered around and finally found the somebody who could make me be true, could make me be blue, or even be glad just to be sad thinking of you. Some others I've seen might never be mean, might never be cross or try to be boss, but they wouldn't do, for nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. It had to be you, wonderful you. It had to be you. Never be cross, tried to be boss, they wouldn't do, for nobody else gave me a thrill. With all your faults, I love you still. Baby, it had to be you, wonderful you, had to be you.
That was Harry Connick Jr. with It Had to Be You from the When Harry Met Sally soundtrack, orchestrated and produced by the great Mark Shaman. Now I've got that Take 5 interview with Olivia Cuttill coming up very shortly, but next, some new music from Zoe Rahman. It's from her latest album, Hull Suite, which was commissioned by Hull Jazz Festival for World Piano Day in 2024. And this is from the recently released live version of the album recorded at the Vortex Jazz Club in London. And it's another reminder of how Zoe is just a magnificent composer, an extraordinary musician and piano player, and she's got such a robust sound at the piano. She's just not afraid to really dig in. I'm so loving the way she plays the piano like a Don Pullen or a Cecil Taylor, but with a gorgeous musicality and choice of notes and sense of swing, all the things I love that come together in her piano playing. And I will never tire of listening to her, that is for sure. So many more albums to come, please, Zoe. But in the meantime, we have this beautiful Hull Suite live recorded at the Vortex Jazz Club. From it, this is Synergy. That was Zoe Rahman with Synergy, recorded live at London's Vortex Jazz Club from her whole suite. I was recently in a very long airport queue whilst going around on my festival tour this summer, and I was listening to this album, and I so got into it, I actually didn't notice the time go by, and I was actually annoyed when I got to the end of the queue and I had to turn it off. But it's a brilliant record. Go and check it out. This is Jamie Cullum, and you're listening to BBC Radio 2 now. It's time for that Take 5 interview. This is where I find out a little bit more about emerging artists. They get to talk about how they got into jazz, memorable gigs they've seen, and the music they're listening to right now. And this week, it's the singer and trumpeter Olivia Cuttill, who I've played on the show before. I've also had the great opportunity to collaborate with her as well at Pizza Express Live Soho, something I did in London recently. But she released her latest album, and writing and singing and tunes to be swinging, last year. And it is excellent classic jazz for the modern era. We caught up with her backstage at Love Supreme Festival last month. Over to Olivia.
Take 5.
Take 5 on BBC Radio 2 with Jamie Cullum. It's time to Take 5 on BBC Radio 2 with Jamie Cullum.
Hey Jamie, it's trumpet player and composer Olivia Cuttill. Thank you so much for having me on your show, and I'm here at Love Supreme. I first got into music because my dad is a musician, and actually his dad was a musician as well, so there's a lot of jazz and music in the family. I grew up in a place called Chadwell Heath in Barking and Dagenham in pretty far East London. Went to study in Leeds for 4 years, but I knew I loved London. I wanted to come back and, start that whole musical journey. And my dad's a drummer, so I started learning drum kit when I was very young, but it was very casual lessons every now and then. And when I got to primary school, they did trumpet lessons for free, so I kind of took them up and kept going with them for years. And when I got to 16 years old, my professor suggested that I learn a jazz standard, and he said maybe try Summertime. So I went home that day. I'd never played jazz before, and I played Ella Fitzgerald's version of Summertime, and it was just an instant click. And I think after that I did go, the Chet Baker route, Dizzy Gillespie, but Ella Fitzgerald has a very special place in my heart. Anytime I want to learn a jazz standard, that's who I go to, because she's kind of the blueprint for me. And one of my favourite albums of all time is Ella and Louis. Louis Armstrong is another massive inspiration for me, and I think my favourite track on there is Can't We Be Friends. It's just every time it just puts a smile on my face, such a beautiful track. They're both so swinging. So I hope you guys enjoy Can't We Be Friends.
I thought I'd found the man of my dreams. Now it seems this is how the story ends. He's going to turn me down and say, can't we be friends? I thought for once it couldn't go wrong. Not for long, I can see the way this ends. He's going to turn me down and say, can't we be friends? Never again, through with love, through with men. They play their game without shame, and who's to blame? I thought I'd found a man I could trust. What a bust. This is how the story ends. He's gonna turn me down and say, can't we be friends?
Yes, I thought I knew the wheat from the chaff. What a laugh. This is how the story ends. I let her turn me down, say, can't we be friends? But that day I acted like a kid out of school. What a fool. Now I see this is the end. I let her turn me down, say, can't we be friends?
The best jazz artist I've seen live is Jasmine Horn, actually here at Love Supreme a couple years ago. She's an incredible vocalist, and I'd already listened to her album countless times, so I was so excited to watch her, and it was just everything I had hoped for. She's just got such a powerful, incredible voice, and her songs are just right up my street, really, really amazing. And one of my favourite tunes of hers is one called Still Trying.
I saw him in a nightclub, he offered me a drink. I smiled and said no thank you, but he smiled right back and winked. I said I'll catch you later, I really gotta go. I stumbled to the doorstep, but he pulled me from the door. Said, where you off to, baby? I just wanna dance. I said, no you don't, fella. You're just trying to get in my pants. Now I don't dance with strangers. Your face is very new. So tell me something, mister. Who in the hell are you? My name is Johnny, honey. So come on and dance with me. I said, not tonight, old Johnny. Won't you just let me be? He said, you're giving me the blues now, baby. All I want is one little old dance. One little dance. Yeah. I said, not tonight, Papa. 'Cause you're just trying to get...
One of my favourite contemporary jazz musicians on the scene today is a vocalist called Lucy Yagazarian, who is from New York, and she is another super powerful vocalist, and she's just got such a direct... her voice, for me, is so enticing, and you know, when she plays a melody, it's just so swinging every time, so thoughtful, everything she sings. And I first discovered her on Emmett's Place, Emmett Cohen's show, and I've watched that episode over and over again because she's just so amazing. And she recently released her album, Hey Love, and I've been listening to it. It's so amazing. And there's a tune called Blowtop Blues, which is, I think, is my favourite on there.
I got bad news, baby. You're the first to know. I got bad news, baby, and you're the first to know. I discovered this morning that my top is about to blow. I've been rocking on my feet, talking all out my head. I've been rocking on my feet, talking all out my head. Can't remember a single thing I said. See, I used to be a sharpie dressed in the latest style. Now I'm walking down Broadway wearing nothing but a smile. See all kinds of crazy things, though they're never there. Tried to push a train, poured whiskey in my hair. You know I blew a fuse. I got those blow top blues. Last night 5 feet tall, today I made feet 10. When I fall down the stairs, I float up again. When they turned the lights on me, it nearly drove me blind. I woke up in Bellevue, but left my mind behind. You know I blew a fuse. I got them blow top blues. Yeah, 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 yeah.
My latest release is my album And Writing and Singing and Tunes to Be Swinging, which is a collection of, I think it's 10 tracks, which have some interludes in there as well. And it's all the things that I love, writing, singing, tunes to be swinging. I'm not a singer myself, but who doesn't love to sing? And I love writing lyrics and stories. So there's loads of personal stories on there, and you know, I try and keep things very light-hearted and funny as well. I'm really drawn to vocalists. I think it's because growing up I've always loved stories so much, not just in music, but just generally stories. I love when someone comes home and they've got a story to tell. So I think that's what's so amazing about vocalists, that they can tell this story and they can connect to people sometimes that haven't listened to jazz before, But if you tell a story and you're playing jazz, you can kind of connect to them on a different level. So lyricists like Steely Dan and Joni Mitchell have really inspired my writing, and for that reason, most of my songs are vocal-led, and I'm not a vocalist myself. It's Izzy Chivers who sings on the album. She's a wonderful, amazing vocalist. I'm so lucky to have her playing. But it definitely changes the way I play the trumpet. I think because I listen to so many vocalists, I kind of think a bit more like a vocalist maybe. I think vocalists really know how to tell a story, and then hopefully that translates onto the trumpet and helps me tell a story when I'm playing. And I think I'd have to say my favourite track on the album is a tune called There's a House Down by the Station, which I wrote about my grandma's house. She lived in the town that I was brought up in, and when I moved back from Leeds, she had passed away, and they were selling the house just about when I got back, and it's right next to the station, so every time I walk past the station I pass her house, and now there's a whole new family living in it. I'm just talking about that whole experience of someone else living in your house, and I realised after I wrote it, and now I'm, playing it at gigs, everyone else feels the same. All these family childhood houses that they walk past, and there's a whole new family in there now. So this tune is kind of about that experience, and it's just a little love letter to my wonderful family and my beautiful grandma.
There's a house down by the station. It's a house I used to know, where a family lived, oh so happily. They all lived in that house they called a home. There's a house down by the station. It's a house I used to go, but no longer do I, for I've said my goodbyes. A new family says hello. There's a house down by the station. It's a house I used to know, where a family lived, oh so happily. They all lived in that house they called a home. There's a house down by the station. It's a house I used to go, but no longer do I, for I've said my goodbyes. A new family says hello. I've said my goodbyes. A new family says hello.
That was Olivia Cuttill and there's a house down by the station. And thanks to her for that Take 5 interview, and her album and writing and singing and tunes to be swinging is out now and absolutely worth a listen. And she's brilliant live as well, so go and check her out if you can. Up next, something from Congo Dia and Totila. They're a collective with members from the Democratic Republic of Congo and the UK. And their sound focuses on what they call Congo jazz, which mixes jazz with seben, an element of Congolese rumba. And this track is a tribute to the great Fela Kuti. So many good things in the mix, right? This is called Mathrobeat. That was the sound of Congo Dia and Totila with a track called Mathrobeat. Love that. Let's take a look at some of the gigs coming up around the UK. Tomorrow night, Theon Cross is at La Belle Angele in Edinburgh, and Courtney Pine is playing London's Jazz Cafe. On Thursday, the Charlie Herbert Trio are at Palladino's Jazz Bar in Cardiff. And on Sunday, King's Cross Summer Sounds returns to London with an exciting lineup including Gary Crosby, Zara McFarlane, Esker, and Tomorrow's Warriors. This is The Jazz Show on BBC Radio 2. And I'm Jamie Cullum. Now I wanted to play something from the great Roy Hargrove, who we sadly lost a few years ago. One of the great modern trumpeters. It's funny that he's already passed away, because he passed away very young, but he felt like we had another one of the modern greats from the past walking around on planet Earth. You know, you could easily kind of put him up there with your Mileses and your Louis Armstrongs and your Donald Byrds and your Lee Morgans. It was just this straight kind of line you could draw through all these wonderful trumpet players over to Roy Hargrove, and no one will question that. This is not just a kind of a legacy thing after he passed. And this album that came out in 2008, Ear Food, I remember when it came out, such a big record for me and my jazz-loving friends. It marked his return to hard bop, and, well, this track went on to become a jazz standard. Hard to do that, but this one did. This is Roy Hargrove with Strasbourg Saint-Denis. Roy Hargrove there with Strasbourg Saint-Denis. And there's a Great documentary you can watch about Roy Hargrove. Really captures what a free spirit he was and how committed to the music he was. Following him around from festival to festival, just always jumping into jam sessions whenever he could. I mean, I remember so vividly after one of the North Sea Jazz Festivals I was playing at, I was in a jam session. It's really early on in my career. And suddenly I look round from the piano and there's Roy Hargrove just turn up on the stage to play along. Wild, wild memory, that one. And I'm ending tonight with a pick from Ismael Rivera, otherwise known as Maelo, a Puerto Rican composer and singer. This track featured on his 1988 album, Maelo El Único. Here it is. This is Ismael Rivera with Las Caras Lindas.
Las caras lindas de mi gente negra son un desfile de velas en flor, que cuando pasa frente a mí se alegra de su negrura todo el corazón. Las caras lindas de mi raza prieta tienen de llanto, de pena y dolor. Son las verdades que la vida reta, pero que llevan dentro mucho amor. Somos la melaza que ríe, la melaza que llora. Somos la melaza que ama, y en cada beso que conmovedora. Por eso vivo orgulloso de su colorido. Somos de tu amable, de clara poesía. Tienen su ritmo, tienen melodía. Las caras lindas de mi gente negra. Las caras lindas, lindas pero caras, mira que lindas son. Las caras lindas de mi gente. Tienen de llanto mucha melodía, te digo, tienen belleza y también tienen...
Closing the show tonight, that was Ismael Rivera with Las Caras Lindas. And that is all I've got time for this week. Thank you for listening. I'm Jamie Cullum, and this has been a Folded Wing production for BBC Radio 2.
This is Radio 2.
On BBC Sounds
and on your smart speaker.
Play BBC Radio 2.